Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakat Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops, elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of our bodies. Shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. The spirit of endurance to overcome what's to come. Okay? May peace and blessings be upon your households. Verse of the day, 2 Timothy 4:7. I like going to the verse of the day, you know. It's a little trend to the day or whatever, you know. It's a nice little guidance. 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Okay. And obviously, if you watch the movie, The Book of Eli, right? Okay. Uh, this is the same scripture that is read at the end when Denzel Washington has finished his course, which he had like a mission. He was on a mission. You know, he was led by what's the term? He's led by the Spirit, not by eyesight, or something. Led by the Spirit and not by eyesight, King James Version. Yeah, we walk by faith, not by sight. That's it. That's how it's supposed to be stated. 2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Okay. Now he had a certain mission to do. He had to go through the straight gate. You know, he had to endure living in horrible conditions. He had to endure illnesses, ailments. He had to endure eating food measured, as the scriptures say, because we're going to eat our food defiled. All right, you know, he had to have his food by measure. All right, because there was a famine of literal bread. Okay, famine of water. You know, it was like a luxury to wash your backside in the movie when they show it to you. Right, and he had to finish his course. You know, he had to avoid certain situations that he really wanted to get involved in, like saving a woman from being raped, you know, as he watched the movie. But he had to go through the straight gate. Obviously, it's a movie, but Denzel is still an Israelite. And these crackers, these Edomites, know when they make the movie, okay? But the movie is a good analogy of what the elect are going through. They're going through their trials and tribulations. They're going through their trials and tribulations that is specifically designed or bespoke or custom made for themselves. You know, Yahweh Shemeshai's design each elect member's path and the many hoops and hurdles they've got to jump through, across, or whatever, right? And everyone's got their own crosses they have to bear in terms of ailments and issues and needs and wants. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go to 2 Timothy 4:8. Now here's the whole of the scripture. Sorry, the second verse. I mean, 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Verse 8, highly spiritual, and it's 8 as well. Infinity. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. All right. The elect are excited, elated, tired, but they get refreshed, right, with hearing what's going on in the news. And as prophecy is ticking over, you know, things are happening, you know, the Lord is ticking off boxes in terms of prophecy, because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. Okay, so the hope for the elect are elated and happy in that way, all right, because these things are happening. The Lord is working, as he said, that, you know, it's time for the Lord to work. The Lord is working. The Lord is doing his thing, right? But to acquire the things that you want, to acquire the power, right, which the elect are going to be given, okay? Because the Lord Yahweh Shai said, you're going to do greater things, than the Lord did. The Lord walked on water. The Lord walked on water, changed water to wine, and obviously numerous and hundreds and thousands, if not, more in terms of the miracles the Lord did, right? Uh, hundreds or thousands of miracles the Lord did. Some are not even documented, right? Uh, the elect are going to do, you know, similar, if not better, if not more, in terms of miracles, and because they're going to be given that spiritual power. All right. So to acquire these things, it's not going to be an easy. It's not going to be a cakewalk, as they say in America. It's not going to be a cakewalk. All right. You've got to endure. You've got to endure each day. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be angry. You're going to be vexed. You're going to be, you're just going to be just vexed, man. You're going to be pissed off. And a couple of times during the day, you might smile. You know, you might think of like a funny skit that came in your head. Maybe a Mike Epps situation or Eddie Griffin or whatever, whoever you are watching, might pop in your head, and you might laugh or smile a bit. Or you might, even better, you might hear about the news of more floodings in America, and these floodings that are taking place in Beijing and China, or whatever. Right? These heathen countries are being hit because they were collectively against us, pursuant to Psalms 83. Now the curses are going on them, pursuant to Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. All right, but we've got to endure, man, to acquire the Lord's blessings, the crown, the spiritual power, the being beautified, all these kinds of things, having the Lord's statutes, commandments in you. You're going to have to go through the straight gate and endure, man. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, you're not saved. You can't choose the Lord, man. The Lord has to choose you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. All right, John 15:16. All right. John 15:16. I've quoted. Let me see. Quote the right one. John 15:16, King James Version. Yeah, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. Right? You can't choose the Lord. You can't say, I've chosen the Lord and I'm saved now. Like the Lord is waiting to be chose. Like the Lord is just standing there, hoping that you look at him and say, oh yeah, I'll choose you, Lord. Now the Lord chooses you. All right. The Lord has chosen those men from the foundation of the earth, man. Okay. Romans 11:4. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. All right. It's, 7 means completion. All right. And those men have not bowed, to the image of Baal, and, image of the beast, Satanism. They haven't not bowed down. They haven't just said, they haven't got weak and said, okay, you're going to delete me, so I'm just going to worship you, devil or demon or whatever, however you want to say it. No, they're against the image. All right. They're actually, they're pro Hamashiach. They're not anti Hamashiach. These 7,000 men are pro Hamashiach, if I can say it that way. All right. They're pro Yahweh Bashim Hashai. Okay. And okay, those men are chosen, man. Okay, those men are chosen. All right. Ephesians 1:4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy, which is separate, and without blame before him in love. Verse 5. Ephesians 1:5. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of the children, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahushua Hamashiach to himself according to the good pleasure of his will. Verse 6, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved. All right. The Lord has chosen those men, okay? Those men that won't bow. One third that won't bow. All right. The Lord has chosen these elect men from the foundation of the earth, man. All right. From the beginning, okay? And they've been chosen to go through the straight gate. And the straight gate is not easy, okay? All right? Only one person can pass through it one at a time, All right, you can't push and bypass and you know hell's breaking loose. Say, oh, get out of the way, I want to run through. No, okay, you got to walk through it circumspectly with your head on a swivel, man. One by one, man. All right, you got to walk through 7 Matthew 7:13 and 7:14. All right, Matthew 7 verses 13 and 14. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, but few there be that find it. All right. You got a lot of our people that are not going to make it, because the scriptures also say it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into the kingdom. So a lot of these sellout jakes are not going to make it. But they have one blessing, that they're Israelites, you know? So therefore, they're going to come back as babies in the kingdom. All right? They're not like Esau, the rich Edomites and the rich heathens, where they're just rich on this side and they sold their ass. And, you know, because those heathens, this is it for them on this side. This is it. This is their last hoorah. You know, they can sip the champagne and all that other expensive shit, right? And they can enjoy their lives in their, you know, marble floors and with their marble floors and their mansions and their swimming pools, all that shit. That's cool. Enjoy it. They're heathens. This is their heaven, which is coming to a close. All right. There's not much of a heaven left anyway for them, right? But for you 2/3 jakes, you're gonna die a horrible death, man. But one blessing you do have is you're gonna come back as babies. But you gotta endure that death. But for the elect, all right. And even if some of the elect members do get deleted on this side, they're going to die an honorable death, and the angels are going to be with them, where they don't even feel the pain, even if their head is given a guillotine, even if their feet are busted with hammers, their toes are busted, they're not going to feel it. You know why? Because Yahweh Hashem Yeshua is going to send the angels, and they're going to be right there, okay? Give you power to endure that, because you have faith. The Lord's going to cover you. It's going to feel probably like a feather. It's probably all the so-called pain is going to feel like a feather tickling you for the elect members. All right, but then some elect members are not going to get deleted. All right, they're going to ride through every situation. The Lord's going to be with them. Some of them might get spiritual power, or they might be next to someone with spiritual power. All right, they're going to make it. And once they make it, all right, they're beamed into them chariots. That's when this lovely scripture, comes to life, man. You know, Second Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Verse 8. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yeshua, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to only me, but unto all them also that love his appearing. All right. Excellent verse of the day. What's the day today, man? 14th. 1, 4, 5 equals 5. 5 means power. All right. Well, anyway, regardless, it's a beautiful verse. Okay. And excellent in a timely fashion, as we're, close to the return of His Majesty Yahweh Shai. His Lord's return is imminent. It could happen any time. All right. We're seeing the charagma, the RF to the I to the D to the CH1P coming into fruition in real time. And it happened in June, late June, which is month 6. All right. And, Elon Musk, these things are, these things are coming into effect, so once then World War III is around the corner and the Lord's return is imminent, man. These things, Lord willing, it happens this year, man, this summer, Abaratazar, so we've got a lot to look forward to. But getting that crown is not an easy fate. It's not an easy thing, whoever the elect members are. But the elect are going through the hell right now. Okay, and then the ones that are not, the heathen and the 2/3, they're getting they're getting their desserts now. Some of them are going through hell, but some of them, everything's still hunky dory, everything's great. They're pain free. Their life is so good for them, even though hell's breaking loose. But for them, everything's still cool. Things are running smoothly. Okay, to a certain degree, right? And then what's going to happen is when all hell breaks loose, the hell that Jake was going through when things are, while things are so-called quiet like this, not quiet, but while things are happening, right? What's going to happen is when all hell properly breaks through, like where there's tanks rolling through the streets of every city, right? Those elect men are gonna have the Lord's gonna pull back the reins of the hell that Jacob's going through. Okay, so the Lord's gonna be giving power, energy. The feeble ones are gonna be like David. They're gonna get spiritual power, and they're gonna be able to make it through with what's about to come on this earth. But the other ones, all right, the 2/3 and the heathen, especially the heathen, right? When they see these things happening, then they're gonna be perplexed. They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be like women in the corner, man. Grabbing their loins. They're gonna be shit scared. You know, they're gonna be wanting to run to the toilet and take a number two because their bowels are gonna be going. You know, that's how it's gonna be. All right. So it's basically it's gonna flip. You know, where uh, um, because it's better to get those licks. The elect are getting their licks now. So when all hell breaks loose, those licks are going to be held back, and the elect are still going to be going through their hell, but they're going to be guided by, a lot of by Yahweh Bashem Yashai, always, of course. But they're going to get that spiritual power. There's going to be some great miracles happening to get them through every situation because they have the faith. Pursuant to Hebrews 11 verse 1, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. The 2/3, they didn't believe, they weren't chosen. They're just going to get deleted, or how the Lord's going to deal with them. And the heathen, all right, it's just the start of their hell, man. They're just going to be going through hell all the way from now, and then once they're, chained up and they're in the kingdom, they're going to be going through further hell. But the heathens in America, they're all going to be deleted with nuclear fire or the other various ways the Lord's going to take them out. All right, but to acquire this crown, man, the elect are going to go through some situations. It's not going to be an easy thing. Okay, all right. And then the book of Eli is somewhat of a good analogy of the hell that Jake went through in the movie. And in the end, this scripture was read. This is an example, but the elect in the real world are gonna, obviously in real life, in reality, are gonna go through some things, man. To acquire this crown. All right, and they've been chosen from the foundation of the earth, and they're protected, man. They are protected. They can be delivered out of every situation, pursuant to Psalms 34, verse 7. And pursuant to Psalms 91 and 11, the angels are guiding them, man. So they're going to be all right. They're going to be good. All right. But the rest of you are going to suffer, man. The elect are going to be good. They're going to get that crown. And these crowns are referring to, these crowns are going to be given to the 144,000 men. All right. The ruling, the ruling elect under the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shai and King David, and and I believe the apostles as well. There's a hierarchy, in the heavens, but there'll be a hierarchy. So verse of the day, and the Lord's return is imminent. All right. So keep the faith. Keep the faith. As emphasized here, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. All right. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord Yahweh Shai, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem HaKadosh. Shalom.